I think you guys have heard that Cole Beasley is out. He's in COVID protocols. Okay. So Cole took to Instagram, and of course, he's an anti-vaxxer. Quote, just to be clear, COVID is not keeping me out of the game. The rules are. Beasley said on his Instagram post, quote, vaxxed players are playing with COVID every week now because they don't test. One of my vaxxed teammates is in the hospital missing games. I'm sure he didn't get this same energy. Thank you for those who support everyone else. If you don't get what's happening, then there's nothing anybody can do for you. It's interesting, that last statement. I read that and I was like, Cole Beasley doesn't even understand what's happening. First, the rules were set up as such. And remember, anyone who says there's a vaccine mandate in the NFL isn't paying attention. There's absolutely no vaccine mandate in the NFL. There's not. Couldn't get it past the players union. So what they did was they made it so prohibitively more difficult to live without the vaccine. Then there's just so many more benefits to having the vaccine. Kind of a backdoor way of getting what you want. That's what smart people do. But maybe more interesting is what Cole Beasley's saying is actually contradicting what he thinks, right? What he's trying to say is, hey, look, the vaccine doesn't even work, right? You got guys getting it. You got a guy still in the hospital. I got nothing, and I can't work because of the rules. Here's the reality, okay? I am not, and you are not, an immunologist. We don't know. But I do know is, if you actually listen to the people who are immunologists, they will tell you this is unlike anything else we've ever been a part of. Early on, you had lots of people talking about the flu. Well, it's just like the flu because it feels like the flu sometimes, right? In terms of how you feel. Except the flu never caused you to lose taste. There's not COVID brain. And there's far fewer deaths than we've had. But the idea of the flu is, hey, it's seasonal. It's going to come around. It's not going away. It's like no one's pointed out a couple things. One is that when you get the flu, once you had the flu, you're not getting the flu again. It's not the same with COVID, right? It's completely different than anything you think your body is used to and your body will adjust to. Yes, you have antibodies, but you can still get infected. And as been proven with some of the variants, you can still get sick. Secondly, and maybe this is the most important thing that Cole Beasley doesn't even know he's saying while he's saying it, which is, this is the perfect example of this disease, how it affects different people differently. You know, he's got some teammates that had COVID that have no symptoms. They're not getting tested, which, by the way, they are getting tested just far less frequently. Anyway, but you have one who's been vaccinated who's in the hospital. Okay, Cole Beasley is a selfish dude. And all of you who are only looking at it from your own perspective and saying, well, you know, my shot, my body, you're just selfish human beings. And it's probably not your fault. This is what we've bred as a society. We have the iPhone. We have the Wii phone, right? YouTube. It's all about you. Right? Matter of fact, Twitter, which is kind of the second coming uppance of message board. It's all about your opinion. Heck, even sports radio really started, Mike and the Mad Dog, with taking phone calls because we want to hear what you have to say. My opinion has to be heard. I have to be heard. Hell, I was watching The Bachelorette last night, and the guy's like, you'll always be seen, you'll always be heard. Like, come on, dude. But you have to have these trigger words. You have to have these code words. Everyone has to be seen and heard and their opinion. Well, here's the opinion that actually is reality. I have no doubt that Cole Beasley is a healthy dude and that he has it. He feels fine. But you don't get vaccinated when you're Cole Beasley for you. You get vaccinated for everybody else because there is the one guy in the locker room who's going to get it and it's going to be bad. And that's the person you care about. It's not just the old people. Right? And why can these college football players, not play? It's not any one individual kid may be asymptomatic. It may not affect them. They may have had it. They may have had the vaccine or whatever. It's the one kid who's going to get it, whose body doesn't have the genetic design or isn't functioning a way in which it can fight it off as well as others and ends up in the hospital. or it's the one coach, or it's the one trainer. So, again, I'm not sitting here telling you it's the end of the world that one bowl game is being canceled or potentially being canceled, or that Cole Beasley won't play this weekend. And the rules they're never completely equitable. They're just not. There's a balance for every rule. Rules of football. We talk about it all the time, right? The worst rule in sports is the touchback rule when you fumble it through the end zone or out of the side of the end zone. Not totally fair, not totally equitable, but such is life. Okay? And rules of society, or when we're trying to get something under control, they told us a long time ago, if we don't see higher vaccination and booster rates, it's going to come back and it's going to be really bad. And this whole let it run its course and it'll go away, it's not how this deal works, apparently. It's just not. So in an effort to sound smarter than everybody else, to be what he thinks is more honest and give you a snapshot of just how unfair it is, he's pointing out just how hard it is to figure this whole thing out, which is most of his teammates who are vaccinated are still playing, but he's got one who's in the hospital. That's the guy we're doing all this for. Right? You don't wear a mask for you and me, or you wear a mask so that more people don't get sick, more people aren't in the hospital, so that people who are really sick get to go to the hospital and have space. Like, again, I'm not sitting there telling you like I have all the answers. I do not. But we got to do a better job of looking outside of ourselves. I can't play. I'm fine. I should be able to play. This is unfair against me when one of my teammates is vaccinated and had to go to the hospital. Hey, dude, that's why we wanted everybody to get vaccinated, so that fewer and fewer people have to go to the hospital. We want to protect that one teammate. Why aren't you thinking about that guy instead of thinking about yourself? Am I making sense here? I feel like I'm making sense, but maybe I'm only making sense in my own brain because I think Cole thinks he makes sense in his own brain, when to me, he's actually contradicting himself.